this time, we'll call the court to order for the first regular meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court for February 2020. As always, I would appreciate if everyone could silence their cell phones or turn them off. We have a very long meeting tonight, and so we will get started, and I expect this thing to last at least 2.5 hours. There's a lot to talk about tonight. And with that being said, I would like to ask Commissioner Brian Booth to say the invocation for us tonight.
Help us to make all the right decisions for our county. We know we have tough decisions to make, dear Heavenly Father, but help us all tonight to make the right decisions. Go with us, dear Heavenly Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones?
Present.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes. We have a quorum and we are ready to proceed. And I'd like to ask Mr. Whitey Gibbs if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gibbs is not only a good friend to the members of this court, but he has worked tirelessly to help us develop the trail system, and he is a retired United States Army soldier, and we appreciate your service and your dad's Army as well, so we appreciate the Gibbs family. I think all three of the Gibbs children served in the military, if I'm correct on that. Is that? So we appreciate that. The next item is the approval of the minutes of the January 7th and January 13, 2020 meetings. Is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. So we have, I'm going to go out a little bit out of order tonight because statutorily, it is my responsibility as a judge executive to keep the court informed of the county's financial position as well as to keep the general public advised of the condition of the county. Before I get into that, I'd like to welcome Pikeville City Commissioner Bob Shurtleff here to the meeting tonight. Bob's here. He's also in management with Kentucky Power and is working with us to try to help secure property for the trail system that we're trying to develop. And Bob, welcome. If there's anything you'd like to say, you're more than welcome to come up and address the court.
No, thank you. Allow me to be here.
Well, we appreciate your assistance and look forward to working with you. Hopefully we can get AEP's cooperation and move this trail system forward. As we begin, we have been tracking the numbers for our coal and mineral severance tax. We have collected 3/4 of coal and mineral severance to this point in the year. And we are, at the present time, we budgeted this year $2.1 million. And if you'll see in the column under 1920 budgeted, it says that we budgeted $1 million for coal severance and $1.1 million for mineral severance. Through 3/4, we are $356,127.69 below our estimate. And let me tell you how we came when we did this budget. We went back 5 years on all of our revenue streams. We looked at occupational tax, coal and mineral severance, property tax. We looked at solid waste, every source of revenue that we had. And last year, the prior administration had budgeted $1.7 million and collected about $1.3. And we felt that a $1 million budget for coal severance and because last year the court collected, let me give you the exact number, the court collected $1.231 million, and then we collected $1.289 million in mineral severance. And the total for the last last budget was 2.5 million collected. So right now, we are on pace to be 1.6 million is about what it's going to look like. Maybe 1.7 if we're lucky. But nevertheless, that is somewhere around an $800,000 or $900,000 decrease in coal and mineral severance from the prior budget. Those numbers are alarming, and they cause me great concern as we try to move the county forward. Now, I want to go, if you would, Justin, to the second spreadsheets. I asked Frankie some time ago, Mr. Stacy, our treasurer, to go back and give me some historical data on coal and mineral severance. And I don't know if we can shrink this down, but if you'll go over to the far column, go to the second page, please, if you don't care, back to, we went all the way back to looking at coal and mineral severance as far back as let's see, the next page down, Justin. No, the second page of these numbers. Let's see, going back to, okay, I'm sorry. No, let's see. I'm talking about the 1999 to 2000 year. That one right there. So if you'll look at these, this goes back, and we'll start with, if you're looking at the screen, it'll be the column on the right. The top is coal severance, the bottom is mineral severance. So in 1999 to 2000, the county collected about 4.5 million. This is hard to read, but if you go to 2000, 2001, with the first year I came in the state senate, the county received 5.4 million in coal severance. It increased in 2001 to 6.7, and then it goes up in 2003, 2004 to about 6.5 million. It goes to over 8 million in 2004, 2005. 2005, 2006, the county received 10.5 million in coal and mineral severance. 2006, 2007, the county received 10.3 million. 2007, 2008, the county received 9.3 million. It peaked in 2008, 2009 at 12,362,000. 2009, coal and mineral was 7,320,000. It was 8,010,000 in 2010, 2011. And these are actual receipts. We didn't look at what the budget was. We just needed to know what the actual receipts were. 2011-12, 8 years ago, the county received 8.13 million in coal and mineral severance. 2012, 2013, it was 5.8 million. 2013, 2014, 5.7 million. 2014, 2015, 5.9 million. And then it sort of bottomed out, or what we thought was the bottom, in 2015-16, it went down to 3.3 million, roughly a 50% reduction from the 2014-2015 fiscal year. In 2016-17, it was 2.5 million. It rebounded to 2.99 million in 2017-2018, and last year was down to 2.5 million. Right now, it looks like we're going to be somewhere around 1.6 million. So when you look at a $10 million reduction in coal and mineral severance over a very brief period of time, that type of loss of revenue simply can't be absorbed without some very painful decisions. And those decisions, at one time, the county had over 350 employees. This week, as of this week, we have 208 employees. Those 208 employees include 55 employees at the jail. We met with the jail administration today, Mr. Morris, and Mr. Fields, and Mr. Snodgrass. Our jail staff is at 55 right now. That's 4 below. They've lost 4 positions they're not going to fill. We've got about 31 between the landfill and solid waste collection, and the rest in public works administration, so forth. We're in a really, really tight situation. And this court, make no mistake, did not raise property taxes. We do not believe, and I think I can speak for the members of the court, that we do not believe that the people of the county can shoulder any more property tax burden. We did not raise property taxes. The solid waste bills did not go up this year. Solid waste bills were increased last year because yesterday, Deputy Judge Hickman and myself accompanied our landfill consultant, Mr. Tom Ramsey. We met in Frankfurt, and we went to the Division of Waste Management, spent 2 hours in a meeting that Mr. Ramsey will be coming up in a few minutes to discuss about the landfill permit application. Right now, the landfill has about 3 years left. I think that's fair, isn't it, Tom? The prior administrations put no money aside, not one penny, to expand the landfill. A large part of the rate increase will have to be spent to bond the expansion of the landfill, because if we don't do that in 3 years when the landfill's full and the garbage has to be contract hauled to somewhere like Ashland or London, it's very, very apparent that the cost to the ratepayers in this county will skyrocket. Common sense would tell you that you can't haul it to Ashland as cheap as you can haul it to Johns Creek to dispose of it. Those are not decisions that this court made. Those are decisions that were made by prior administrations, and a lot of people really benefited from the fact that we were getting $8, $9, $10 million, $12 million in coal severance tax. Because let me tell you why. That's how the court kept the rates at $7 or $10 for years and years and years. It was subsidized by coal severance tax. Coal severance tax is all, for all intents and purposes, is gone. We see no evidence of a rebound. The numbers prove that. We were hoping that we had seen the bottom. The numbers don't show that. So when we're sitting here right now, $356,000 below what we budgeted through 3 quarters, and no expectations that those numbers are going to rebound, particularly what we saw with the mines over at the old McCoy Elkhorn operation with Quest Energy being shut down by the state. We don't see this rebounding. So earlier today, I met with the management team, the supervisory staff, and I asked them by March 15th to give me proposals for budget reductions of both 5% and another proposal for 10% reductions. We're looking at things like consolidating county road lots. Nothing's been worked out yet, but we have 3 road lots. We have Robinson Creek, Marbone, and Belcher that with the new US 460 are probably not more than 15 or 20 minutes apart. We're looking at seeing what the potential is to consolidate those. These are changes that people are not going to be receptive to. They're not going to be popular. It's going to, in some cases, result in less efficient government services. But the choices are very simple. If you want to continue with the current structure of county government, people would have to pay more. I see no evidence that people in this county want to incur additional taxes. I'm a business owner. I'm a property owner. When property taxes go up, that rate increase will be there in perpetuity. We have major fiscal constraints that we're looking at. So not only are we seeing a decrease in income, we also, in the next budget, I don't have this on a PowerPoint or a slide, but next year we're forecasting a workers' compensation premium increase of $149,040, property and casualty increase of approximately $30,000, health insurance premium increase of $51,478.11. And the big one is because of the CERS rates, we're looking at a pension increase of $234,623.11. So between the decrease in revenue and the increase in cost of employee benefits and the pension contribution, we're looking somewhere around $1 million turnaround or $1 million hit from the current budget. Now, let me give you this number. Legislation that was passed a few years ago that capped the growth in the pension rate for CERS limited the growth to 12% per year. So in 2020, the pension cost from today's, where we are today, will go up $234,623.11. In the third year, the third budget that this court will submit to the county, $482,235. And in the fourth year of this administration, our fourth budget, the pension will increase $820,251. That's assuming no pay raises, no additional hires. If we hire people, if the payroll goes up, it's simply a function of the rate times our payroll. Right now, the court's paying 24.06 cents for every dollar of payroll to CERS. It goes up to 26.95% next year. The third year out, it goes up to 30.18%. Justin, if you can scroll down. Now, let me give you something here, and there's nothing, we have zero control over this at the local level. If the General Assembly doesn't act on this, it will absolutely cripple every county government in eastern Kentucky. By 2028, that pension cost is expected to go up. If it continues to do this, it's forecast to go up to 59.57%, I believe is what that is. So 59 cents for every dollar of payroll. That is simply not sustainable. That would mean our pension costs would go from a little under $2 million right now to more than $5.3 million a year in 8 years. There's no way that you can cut $3 million out of this budget or any future budget with the forecast revenue that we're looking at. So we're going to have change our expectations of what county government can provide. We have very limited options on how we can move forward. Every element of county government is going to have to brace for budget reductions. And we're going to have to do more with less. It's possible we could push these cuts off to the next administration. But by doing that, we would basically take any revenue that we have to spend on benefits and pension costs to the detriment of the future of this county. And why do I say that? If we take the revenue that we have, that we've set aside to try to buy new equipment for our solid waste system, you can't pick garbage up if you don't have garbage trucks, and they don't give those away for free. We're going to be talking about that tonight. When Darren comes up to give us a briefing this evening, I think he's going to tell you that we need to get rid of all 11 of the mini packers, the 2006 models, the 2009s, and the Dodges. Is that correct, Darren? And I think it's fair to say that we're just bleeding cash because we can't keep them on the road. And when you don't have trucks that are dependable, we've took one out of service, I believe, today, one of the newer ones, because it is a public safety hazard. And we can't endanger our drivers or the members of the general public by putting this stuff on the road. We had 4 mini packers down out of 11 at the last court meeting. We raised rates for the purpose of expanding our landfill and being able for solid waste to be self-sufficient. In years past, the prior administrations were subsidizing the solid waste system by over $1 million out of the general fund. Well, if you gave this court another $6-8 million, another $10 million in coal severance, there wouldn't have been a rate increase. We wouldn't have to worry about a landfill expansion. That's not the reality we live in. We have to live in today's reality, and that's the fact that we're going to have a very, very, very significant reduction in our coal and mineral severance. When you talk a $2.1 million budget and it goes down $500,000, it's nearly a 25% reduction in your coal and mineral severance from one year to the next. There's no way to make that up. The only options this court would have would be an insurance premium tax, and there's no sentiment here. There's no sentiment from this court to put an insurance premium tax on. There's only 3 ways that we can fund county government. The first way is property tax rates. We didn't raise property tax rates. The second way is an occupational tax. That was already done. The third way is an insurance premium tax. That's not an option. We do not, and I think I can speak for the members of the court, that would be an absolute last resort, because you've got a lot of people on fixed income. You've got a lot of small business owners that are suffering right now. Earlier today, I met with a CPA who's been practicing in Pikeville for 36 years, and he said that every business owner that he has as a customer is struggling right now. So you can't tax your way out of this. It's going to take some very creative thinking, and we can't continue to do things the way they've been done in the past. And we told the employees of the Pike County Fiscal Court that they're not going to be comfortable with some of these changes. We're doing away with the mini packer fleet. We're going to save money by doing that, by going to these 1-ton trucks with easy dumps. Some people didn't think it would work. It actually turned out, I think, Chuck, that the employees are liking it actually better. But as we go forward, when you look at these numbers, these are not things that this court has any control over. And we're going to ask that you be patient with us as we try to wade through this. There's a lot of things that we have to address. And, we've tried our best to educate the public on the situation facing the county. Some people have kept up with it. Some people paid attention. Some people have not. But I can tell you, when you sit in one of these 4 seats up here, it is a very difficult job managing limited resources. And we have to fulfill our capital plan. We were going to be rolling out our capital plan. It's something I asked the Mountain Water Board to do, and they've done that. We've put together a capital plan. We know we're going to spend over the next 3 years $5.5 million to expand the landfill. It's going to be 2 years to get the permit through. It's what we were told yesterday. 2 years. So that gives us about a year to get the funding and start construction on the re-permitted landfill. I met with Mayor Jimmy Carter today, Mr. Philip Ellswick, and we have their support. The city of Pike was working with us because their trash goes into that landfill too. The city pays the county for that. And it will have a profound impact on the city of Pikeville, Coal Run Village, Elkhorn City, and the entire county if that landfill were to shut down. It would, like I said, cause garbage rates to skyrocket because it would have to be hauled to Ashland. Most likely, you're going to pay them somewhere near $40 a ton to take it, and to contract haul 60,000 tons of garbage to Ashland would be pretty expensive. So we have to make sure that we continue to invest in our solid waste system. We also have major equipment needs in our road lots. And Mr. Little has identified between solid waste, public works, and the road department, somewhere between $10 and $11 million in capital needs over 5 years. So that's $16.5 million. I can tell you there's not going to be $16.5 million to invest in our capital plan. It's not a reality. We're not going to have the money. But what money we do have is these guys can't work on our roads if they don't have equipment to work with. You can have manpower, but if you don't have equipment, we're in trouble. I've asked Randy Courtney, who's one of my close friends, to come tonight. Randy, I think, is back there. He's president of Pike County Firefighters Association. I've asked Mr. Eugene Gibbs to come. He's very active. He's on the board of our senior citizens programs. And I'm going to ask them for some proposals on how there's right now about $1 million coming out of the county budget, a little over $1 million, directly to the senior citizens and fire departments. We're going to have to look at some alternatives to that funding. It's not because we don't want to. This court preserved funding for our fire departments and senior citizen centers. But if this continues, it will simply be impossible for whoever sits in these chairs to fulfill those obligations as we go forward. You can't pay for things if you don't have the money. And I'm asking, again, by March 15th, I've got the leadership team here, and we're going to expect that they have a proposal to us. It's not going to be popular. And like I said, I don't think there's any question that we're going to have people complain about services. There's no way you can do it with less manpower, less equipment, and get the same result. I want to mention one other thing. We have an issue with our road system, and it's simply underfunded. When you go back to 2012, 2008, 2009, when the county was getting $12 million, $10 million, $9 million in LGEA money coming directly to the county, that doesn't count the single county money that the General Assembly controlled. It counts the money that came directly back to the court. Frankie, I think the statute at that time said 30% of that money had to be spent on county roads, correct? 30%. So when you take 30% of $12 million or $9 million, that's more right in and of itself, that plus the county road aid money. Right now, we'll be able to pave about 18 miles of road if we're lucky in the next year. But when you have somewhere near 1,200 miles of county roads, it's really a Band-Aid on a gaping wound because you're basically trying to address the worst problems. But as we go forward with inadequate funds to repay these roads, these county roads are going to get worse and worse and worse. There's no hope coming, or there's nobody on a white horse coming from Frankfurt to save us. We're going to have to figure out creative ways to do this. We're not going to be patching and paving entire hollers. We're going to have to pave the worst parts every year. Try to take care of the worst areas first. But I wanted to bring this to the court's attention. It is very concerning. We have looked at these numbers. We've had Mr. Stacy go over the numbers repeatedly. And, you know, the numbers don't lie. I think Mr. Ramsey said what he liked being about an engineer yesterday was he loved math and science, and, you know, 2 + 2 is always 4, I think is what he said. Well, you know, when you look at these numbers, they don't lie. And I'll be happy to make these charts available to anybody that wants to look at them. They are alarming, and they should cause concern for every man and woman in this county because it has a direct impact on our ability to provide essential government services for the citizens of Pike County. So with that being said, before we move into the agenda, I would just briefly like to yield to the members of the court for their comments or anything they'd like to add.
Well, I know we're going to have to take a real hard look, like you said, Judge, and go through it, and it's just going to be tough. And we'll just make through it the best that we can make through it.
Thank you.
We're just going to have to tighten the belt. I know everybody don't want to hear that, but like the judge says, when you don't have the money to fund all these things, you know, we've got to do something. So just try to be patient with us, and we'll try to get through this and keep the county in order.
You know, Commissioners, I think the way we have to try to address this is to try to find ways to put people back to work. We're losing population. Mount Water's losing customers. We're going to be talking about their budget. I talked to the superintendent today, Reed Atkins. The county schools, when I was in school, had somewhere near 20,000 students. You're down to about 7,900. The population loss is a problem that is compounding what we're dealing with. You have fewer people to pay for government services. It's one of the reasons AEP's had to incur rate increase. You know, there's certain fixed costs, but you've got fewer people. I think, Bob, it's a fair statement. You've got fewer people, fewer customers to shoulder the burden would be a way to put it. That's not popular, but that's the reality. We are going to have to, we're working, we met today and we're going to talk briefly about the proposal we have from Palmer Engineering on the infrastructure for the Wolf Pit Industrial Site. I had an opportunity to meet with Adam Rice, Congressman Rogers, field rep today, and he is pledging to work with us. We're going to try to set a meeting up with Congressman Rogers to both help us with securing the funding for the infrastructure, which is about $5 million. Hopefully we'll be able to get mostly grant money for that, and then also try to obtain funding for a spec building at that site. And, you know, if we can get that done, it will give us an opportunity in the county's tax base to try to bring some new businesses. When this court came in, I think it's very important to point out the county, the Pike County Fiscal Court, and the county's tax base does not have a county-owned industrial site. And that's really inexcusable for a county this large that's had the resources that this county's had for so long not to have an industrial site. But that's the reality. We're going to address that, and we're going to have it, we'll have, hopefully, in 18 months, you'll have an industrial site ready to go at Wolf Pit that'll be somewhere around 30 acres. And that is the priority to try to move this county forward, because if we can get that site ready, it gives us an opportunity to try to bring some businesses here. Can't bring a business here if you don't have somewhere to put them. Because we have a site and even a spec building, there's no guarantee that it's going to bring a business. But I can guarantee you this, if you don't have that infrastructure, it's not going to happen. So anyway, the next item on the agenda is I have Mr. Roy Sawyers and Mr. Mike Blackburn here, who's chairman of the board of the Mountain Water District. Gentlemen, I'd like you all to come up. And another gentleman I'd like to ask to come up, who is someone that I propose to to nominate. We have a vacancy on the Mountain Water District Board. Gentlemen, come on up, and Jimmy, could you help them with their microphones, make sure they're on, please? And Randy, I'll let you come on up, so that way you save you a trip here in just a second. Gentlemen, welcome to the Pike County Fiscal Court, and we appreciate the opportunity to have you here tonight. We've had some pretty good discussions about the future of Mountain Water District, and I think it's fair to say that you are facing some significant challenges as well. And Commissioner Robertson and myself had an opportunity to meet with your leadership team, was it last week, Mike? I believe it was.
Week before last, I think,
Week
Judge.
before last. One of the concerns that I had when I came in office was the fact that Mountain Water District didn't have a capital plan in place, a plan to replace aging infrastructure. And as I said previously, we received a letter back in 2013 that indicated that the Mountain Water District only had about 5.6 or 5.7% of the money that it needed to replace depreciated assets. And I think that you are looking at a way, and I commend what you've done to look at a way to address that. Nevertheless, I think the water loss is somewhere around 37%. Is that correct? Would you just, Roy, just tell the folks that are watching who you are and what you're doing to move Mountain Water forward and what the plans are.
District is moving forward with regard to the capital plan. Sit down with public service. Planning and public service. Very well received and pleased with our program or plan. Now we have to move forward with our plan. Get it rubber stamped. Together.
Now, one of the holdups that we've had most recently is the water situation between the city of Pikeville and Mountain Water, where you've asked for a 40-year contract extension. And we had a very positive meeting with the mayor and the city manager today. And hopefully we can get that issue resolved, because if we don't, you're really talking about a $350,000 grant that we're at risk of losing, correct? And I want to personally thank Mayor Carter for taking the time to come over here today, because he was gracious enough to sit down. I think there's a path forward where we can work through this. But I think it's fair to say, Roy, and I again want to commend what you all have done recently, because you went down, you met with the Public Service Commission, and you rolled out your capital plan. I think they were fairly impressed by that. And I think it's important that David Taylor be commended, your operations manager, for the work. David knows the district in and out. He's a smart guy. He's committed to the district, and he's put a lot of elbow grease and a lot of hard work into that plan. And I want to thank him. But let's be honest about this. Right now, the big issue that Mountain Water has, as I understand it, is there's no money that's been set aside to replace these aging lines. And some of the lines are somewhere around 50 years old, correct? And at 37% line loss, the fastest way, the fastest return on your ratepayers' investment would be to reduce the water loss, correct? And
Part of the capital plan is us, part of the plan is we've set and looked through our quadrants. We have 4 quadrants broke down, and in those quadrants, we've did our numbers and country numbers. Basically, approximately 75% of our water loss is service lines, which is customer service. Those are 3/4 inch.
And until we attack the water loss, until the district attacks the water loss, you're really not going to be able to rein in rates or to invest in some of the other infrastructure that's going to have to be addressed, correct?
Yes, sir, we can't. We don't have the reserves in place as far as the work goes. We utilize what
No.
funds we have towards repair and maintenance.
Now, in fairness, Mike, we talked about this. One of the problems that Mountain Water has was that the boards, the prior boards, went from 1995 to 2015 without a rate increase. Is that correct?
That's true, yeah.
And you know, the thing about rate increases is they're absolutely not popular, but when you dig a hole that's as deep as the one Mountain Water's facing, when you only have 5% of the money in reserves that you need to replace aging, depreciated infrastructure. And in theory, if I understand it correctly, when you depreciate an asset, you should have money set aside to replace it, correct? Everything's got a useful life. You know, this phone's got a useful life, car, truck's got a useful life. And that was never done in the past, was it?
No, sir.
Okay. And I think most people would understand if you had small rate increases periodically, that would be a lot easier to shoulder. It would be a lot easier to absorb into a budget than when you go 20 years without a rate increase and have to have a substantial rate increase. That would be,
Public Service Commission recommends 3 to 5 years on rate studies.
and in this district, in the Mountain Water District prior to you even coming in, went nearly 20 years, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, as I understand it, you all are taking a look at possible ways to address this line loss, correct?
Yes, sir.
And to address the other issues that the district's facing.
Yeah, other infrastructure also.
And we have here the operating budget, and I believe Mr. Johnny Dennison, CPA, that was this court's first appointment to the board, has been instrumental in working with Mr. Blackburn, yourself, and the management to make sure that this is done correctly. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So we have here before us on the agenda to acknowledge receipt of Mountain Water District's 2020 budget. Is there any, Commissioner Robertson has been through a meeting with me and your leadership team. I don't know if Commissioner Tackett and Commissioner Booth have any questions about that. Do you all have anything you'd like to ask or anything? Jason, you have anything? Okay. All right, is there a motion to acknowledge the 2020 budget for the Mountain Water District? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Gentlemen, thank you all very much, and I'll just ask you to remain seated for a second. We have received a resignation from Mr. Eddie Hurley, who was appointed by the prior administration, and there is a vacancy, as I understand it, to fill the remainder of his term, which I believe expires in either 2021 or 2022, correct? 2022. So I've asked Mr. Randy Tackett, I've known Randy as long as I can remember, but Randy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, engineer by trade, and give us a little bit about your educational background and work history.
I'm a graduate of the University of Kentucky College of Engineering, have my degree in civil engineering with a mining option. Primarily been in the mining industry in this county since I got out of school in 1976. Been in business for myself. I've worked for three major coal companies in the county, and operated my own company for about 16 years. And really look forward to, if I'm elected to the board, look forward to trying to come up with some pragmatic solutions to some of the problems that the board's having right now.
When I became county judge, when I was running for county judge, I made a promise that I was going to put people on the Mountain Water Board that had relevant experience. Their first appointment was a CPA. You're an engineer. And when I spoke to you about this, I mean, I think you graduated from high school with Judge Hickman. He speaks highly of you. Mr. Dennison speaks highly of you. I've known you as long as I can remember. But I think it's important when you bring civil engineering experience, a degree in civil engineering. Not many people have those kind of degrees routinely, in the community. But I think that's the kind of expertise that we need on the Mountain Water Board. We need financial expertise. We need management expertise. We need engineering expertise. And we're going to have some folks on there who are from the ratepayer side. We're going to put some folks on there that understand how rates and how the service impacts. It's not just going to be, but we want people on the Mountain Water Board, and I think it's fair to say that are educated, experienced. You're a Mountain Water customer, correct?
Right.
And that's one of the prerequisites for being on the board is you have to live in the service area and be a customer. And it would be my motion that this court nominate Mr. Randy Tackett to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Eddie Hurley on the Mountain Water District Board. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any question, discussion, or comments from any member of the court? Judge Hickman, would you like to say anything?
Congratulations, Randy.
It may be condolences before it's over.
Randy, you're the right guy for the job, buddy. Look forward to working with you.
I never ran away from the fight. I understand that.
Well, we appreciate your willingness to bring your engineering expertise to help the people of the county. I think that in and of itself will help save the district money. And we look forward to working with you over the remainder of the term. And so with that being said, there are no other question or discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, congratulations, and we appreciate you being willing to serve.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Next item on the agenda, and I'm going to pass over the Trails Advisory Board and take care of a matter. There is the adoption of a resolution approving the execution of the Pike County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement between the Pike County Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020, and accepting all roads and street referred to therein as being part of the county road system. Is there a motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Commissioner Booth. Is there a second? Second. We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett? Yes. Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. So let me go ahead and sign it, and Lisa, you'll get me the original, is that correct? Okay. All right, we also have, is Rhonda there? Is Rhonda, come on up. The next item we have is the Pike County Clerk, Rhonda Taylor, and the county clerk's budget for 2020 is on the agenda to be acknowledged today.
It's me again, Margaret.
Ms. Taylor, welcome. And we have your budget here, and I just want to go through the amended budget with you briefly.
Okay.
It appears that the budget has been amended to show the actual revenues of $679,04 in 2018 and $1,084,815.78 in 2019. And it looks like you have forecast an increase of to $1,133,165.68. And I assume that that's based in part over the increased fees that the legislature passed last year. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, Judge, I couldn't hear you.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
I've got you. So the estimated increase in your receipts for the 2020 year are, I assume, based in part on the rates for different fees that the legislature passed last year. Is that correct?
I'm actually thinking it's going to be more around $20,000 for that.
Well, then where did this additional
Talking
fee?
about the difference in the $48,349.49.90.
No, I'm talking about the difference, but you have forecast an increase in revenue from $1,084,000 to $1,133,000 in 2020.
That's with a little bit of the savings on the insurance. And that's with reduction in the hours. And that's with the layoff of one person.
Okay, let me back up. And I'm not trying to be difficult on this. I'm just trying to say you forecast an increase in revenue. Switching insurance reducing payroll does not increase revenue. So there's a forecast of $50,000 in increased revenue, and I'm just trying to figure out, to me.
Of it will be for fees, yes.
Okay. All right. And this shows that there's no supplement at this point in time from the fiscal court.
No supplement, a change in the insurance plan, a reduction in hours, a layoff of one person, and no capital money.
Okay.
That's what's in that actual plan you've got right now.
Okay. And I think that it would be prudent before you make a decision on a laying off a person to wait till we get into May or June and see where you actually are, because we don't have to have our budget in place until July 1st. I think I expressed that.
But I have to have mine in, Judge, and I have to have the actual count.
And I understand that, but I don't think you have to make any personnel decisions until we see where this is going. But if you
I can check that out and see if that's feasible.
because we forecast somewhere near $80,000 in savings on health and dental. Is that correct, Mr. Maynard? This year, but in the second year will be an additional. Okay, what was the first year's savings? Okay, so a total of about 80 over 2 years. Okay, so if we save about 31,000 on our health insurance this year, that's a good start. We appreciate that. Is
Judge,
there?
I don't understand where y'all get those figures. I really don't.
We got them from the insurance agent, I believe, was the numbers that.
Well, we have what the insurance agent gave us, and we're saving $14.50 a month.
14,
$50 a month,
okay,
which for 12 months would be $17,496.
okay. And then we were told that there's going to be some additional savings on the dental side. Is that correct?
Not yet.
And that's that's until July 1, right, Rhonda?
Well, if we'd have to change plans again July 1, and that's when the plan that has the $500 built into it for each person that goes to the hospital. But I don't have budgeted for that. I only have budgeted for what we have right now, and our premium, like I said, is $17,496 a year.
A year, a month?
No, a year savings.
Okay. That's from now till July 1, correct?
No, from now to December.
Okay, so you're basing it on what you've got now, even though you're going to be switching insurance companies July, correct?
$1,450.08 is what we're saving a month.
Okay.
But that's up until July 1, and then you'll roll into a new
I don't know what's coming
plan.
along July 1st.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I don't know what type of plan we're going to have July the 1st. He had mentioned that we may get a better savings. There may be another plan, but as of right now, I don't have anything budgeted other than what he's given me, because we don't know what's going to happen come July. I have the bills if you want to see them.
Well, I mean, Justin, was there information about what it would be in July?
Yes, Judge, I have the proposal in my
If
office.
you'll notice those two budgets between the one that I turned in earlier and the one you asked, number 2 and this will be number 3. There is a difference of $11,650.10. It says by switching our insurance, there's going to be a difference of, I've got so many figures written down here. Just give me a second. Our old rate was $18,000 and some a month, and our new rate is $16, almost $17. So, I mean, there's a difference.
So what I've committed to, what the court's.
And here's something that was a hidden expense that nobody didn't realize either, was we had one girl that was on Medicare, and her insurance was only $8,000 a month. With this new plan, since it's all composite rates, she had to go up to the same amount as everybody else, and hers would be $13,500 a year. That would be a difference that you'd have to pick up in that bottom number.
So here's what the court's committed to. The court has committed to coming back closer to the end of our fiscal year to see where you're at. And we've asked you to make some steps. We know that you're going to be able to, in July, go to this other insurance policy and save additional money. We've already got that information. If that proves not to be correct, then we'll have to address it down the road.
Okay, well, I don't think it will, because the rate itself will go up from 14.5 up to 15 something if we go with that new plan.
You know, what the court's committed to is if you made the right steps to help us rein some of the costs in, we would be willing to look at it. I don't think anybody in this court is unwilling to help the clerk's office.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But you saw the numbers I put up here that we're having to face. We have no choice but to rein in expenses. We're going to be making some significant cuts, most likely, if not in the next few weeks, in the next budget. The money's not there. And we're only asking all the other office holders to do what we met with the jail staff today. Mr. Morris is working hard to increase the revenue for the jail. He has challenges there as well. We know you have challenges. And we are committed to coming back to this.
The fee increase that the state has given us, I think will help us some.
Well, I think it will, and we'll know more about that in a few months. You're the duly elected clerk. We respect that. It's your office, and we're going to let you operate it, and we're going to approve this budget, and we'll revisit it. We'll have a better idea of what these rates, the ones passed by the legislature, will do. But my staff is here, Mr. Stacy, Mr. Maynard, myself, Judge Hickman. We're here to work with you. If you need legal advice, we got the county attorney here. Whatever we can do to help the clerk's office meet its financial obligations to its employees, we're going to be here to help.
Well, I appreciate Judge very much.
But we just want to make sure that every agency of county government is doing what we're having to do. So is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the February 4th, 2020 general term order in the proposed budget by Ms. Taylor's office? Motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett? Yes. Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
The next matter is I'd like to ask Mr. Tom Ramsey and Ms. Donna Hinchman from Geosyntec Consultants, or Landfill Consultants, to come up and just give us an update. Tom, I believe, has been up at the landfill most of the day, working with Mr. Hensley and observing. You can, first of all, Tom, bring us up to speed on what you saw, what needs to be done at the landfill, any changes that you've seen, and then explain to us the process for expansion of the landfill, why it needs to be expanded, and where we are on that.
Sure. Provide an update for everyone. First, with regard to the landfill, spent several hours on site with Larry Hickman today just to see how operations are going out there. There continues to be slow and steady improvement to the site. We've been, this is now, I believe, my 5th time in visiting the landfill in the past 12 months. Basic operational practices of compacting waste and making sure that we try to shed as much water off the landfill as possible to reduce the costs of managing the leachate, which is the liquids that go through the garbage that has to be treated at the sewer system. Efforts to reduce that are going forward. There's been a lot of work on placing additional soil on finished slopes of the landfill in order to get water to shed properly. I know that there are some issues to be addressed in hopefully a not too distant future with regard to older equipment that there's having some maintenance issues with. Hopefully, as the solid waste systems budget stabilizes, there may be some funding to help out with that as well here in the not too distant future. So certainly we give positive reviews. There's certainly work to do moving forward. But there is progress being made. With regard to the expansion of the landfill, been discussing this before the court since last spring. As we had talked before in our initial review of the landfill, there is a very limited amount of disposal space left. And so getting an expansion that would allow the county to count on having a serviceable landfill that would serve the county's needs for decades to come is of critical importance. We prepared the application process through the state. Is a three-part process. It begins with a notice of intent, and then there's an administrative application and a technical application, and they address different parts of the state regulations with regard to getting approvals for landfill expansion. Prior to that, we needed to make some changes to the current solid waste management plan for the county. There's a 5-year plan that's required by the state. And we had to make the prior folks, despite the lack of expansion, the lack of space remaining in the landfill, did not put in that plan the need for an expansion, so we had to modify that as well. We had our meeting yesterday at the Department of Environmental Protection with Jeannie Nichols, correct? And Ken Melton from the state, along with their staff, to discuss the process moving forward. We had a very good meeting with them. We were able to get through a little hiccup that's been going on with regard to the solid waste plan, so that is, I think, now past us, and we'll be moving forward in earnest with the design of the expansion. There's a fair amount of field work that has to be done with that to understand the geology and the hydrogeology of the site over the next 6 to 8 months. And then after that, the detailed design of the expansion will move forward. So we're making progress. As Judge Jones had mentioned, the folks there at the state had indicated that a typical process would be about 2 years. They characterized that as a realistic time frame. We obviously are going to do everything we can to try to shorten that as best we can. For my effort, that will be certainly by trying to shorten our schedule and make sure that what we submit to the state is thorough and complete, in order to try to minimize the number of questions and comments we might get from them. The process will require a back and forth with the state. Every application for any landfill expansion it's not like filling out your forms at the DMV to get your driver's license, where you just give them the forms and you get the license. There's always back and forth, so we're going to try to minimize that if possible. There are a couple of public notices that will be coming out in the next few months. The first, that there'll be a notice that the county has applied for a landfill expansion. And then at some point in the future, as the technical application moves forward and a draft permit is issued, there will be a public hearing that's required as well. So that is what we anticipate. Those are some of the things that result in a process that certainly is going to be more than a year.
So just to clarify this, from my understanding of the conversation yesterday, you were there, we're looking at 2 years before we're going to be in a position, the best case scenario. And one of the reasons we've not been able to move faster is financially. We had to see if we could do this. But we're going to be pretty close by the time, if we get through the process in 2 years, by the time we can get construction funded and started, we're going to be close to the end of the useful life of the current phase of the landfill.
Very close, yes.
And we are looking at options for vertical expansion.
Correct.
More expeditiously than a horizontal expansion that will be the re-permitting of the entire landfill.
Correct. One of the, we are doing some analyses internally within Geosyntec to try to find options that would try to extend the life of the existing landfill as much as possible. We're going to be doing an analysis to see if it's possible to, with the existing fill area, to try to fill it a little bit higher than what the current permit has stated. That's what's being called a vertical expansion, to see if that can be done stably. And assuming it is, then we would move forward with the state to get that approved so that we could get a few more months or maybe even a year of additional disposal space without having to build.
You know, when you did the study about whether we need to shut this landfill down I think you would still be in agreement that if we don't expand the landfill, the cost for Pike County's ratepayers, the solid waste customers will definitely skyrocket.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You're talking about spending, off the top of my head, it would certainly be 50% more than what you're spending right now in order to put everything in a tractor trailer and haul it to Ashland and then pay for disposal fees up there.
And then you still have the cost of shutting down the existing
Correct.
landfill.
And I would like to remind the court on that as well, that the landfill has a closure and post-closure obligation that is not fully funded at this point. The whole point is you fund that over time. So again, it's critical that we get this expansion so that you have the time necessary to fully fund that.
So just so the people who are listening to this, we have members of the press here, taxpayers here, people watching on TV or Facebook, if that landfill shuts down in 3 years, it's fair to say that there's not enough money that was escrowed in the past to close it and maintain it over the next 30 years where we're statutorily required to do that.
That's correct.
And I think the last number we looked at was somewhere more than $3 million short.
That is correct.
So even if you shut it down and haul it somewhere else, you still got a $3 million liability hanging around the county that this court inherited.
Correct.
Gentlemen, do you have anything you'd like to discuss or questions or?
I just want to thank you for what you've done for us already. We appreciate that. And the taxpayers out here need to know that too, because we was in a real big problem. I don't think anybody ever thought about it, or they don't think about the landfill that much. They know it's just a place to dump their garbage, but there's a lot that comes into that and a lot to do with it. I just want to thank you all for helping us out.
Thank you. It has been our privilege to be able to help out the county. I appreciate it very much. I realize that things are difficult and that we're in a tight position right now, but I will say again that in the 12 months that I've been involved in here, things have gotten better. Landfills are like a giant carrier, in the Navy, traveling down the ocean. You don't just turn it around on a dime. They turn very slowly if you got to turn things around. And the turn is being made. I'm optimistic for that, but there's still a lot of work to go.
And we have seen a turnaround.
And I think it's fair to say, and the court needs to express its gratitude to Larry Hensley. When we gave him the authority to manage the landfill, we've seen a substantial improvement in the condition. We've seen substantially better water and leachate control.
Yes, Mr. Hensley's done an incredible job.
Another issue that I want to remind the folks about is when we came in, we had a letter that was contained from another engineering firm in the 5-year plan that basically said there was 8 years left on the landfill or something like that. Is that true?
Yes, that is.
Okay. That was not accurate, was it?
No, it was not.
And let me tell you what sort of clued us into the fact that we might need to take another look at this. Commissioner Booth is up there almost every day in his day job. And he brought pictures in, and we look at these pictures, and we could see in places that the trash was up to the top of the line or on phase 5. And we looked at them again a few weeks later, and there's no way, and he looked at me and he said, there's no way that there's 8 years left up there. So we obviously found out that there was a mistake made in the engineering when they went from phase 4 to phase 5, and the county lost about 20 feet of airspace in the landfill. And that cost the county, how long, Tom? How much time did that cost us?
Certainly at least a year, if not more than that, without a doubt. I mean, the phase 4 area was filled and capped 20 feet below the permitted grades.
And if this court, so the folks out there will know, if we hadn't made the hard decision to put the rate increase in place, to get somebody else to look at this, and you kick this thing down the road a couple years, that landfill becomes unsalvageable. You would not have enough time to re-permit it and expand it before it was full. Is that a truthful statement?
That's true.
And at that point in time, you still have the $3+ million liability on the closure that's not currently funded, and no place to put your garbage for 50,000 people.
Correct.
So we appreciate your work. We've got just, the only instruction or recommendation or encouragement I would give you is to make sure that we keep the re-permitting or the permitting process on the timeline, because we have very, very little room for error.
And I appreciate that very much, Judge, and we will do our best.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm going to skip around. We have before us the approval of the Pike County Exposure Control Plan. Mr. Spears, would you come up and give us a very brief explanation of that, sir? Tom, safe travels. Don, safe travels. Thank you all.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Okay, Judge, under OSHA's law 1910.1030, certain jobs that require people to be exposed to blood or other infectious material, it requires this plan. On the front of the plan, there's an outline. The jobs that we have that require this are the solid waste drivers, the loaders, landfill operators, custodial people, and our animal shelter. Plan, it outlines administration of the plan. You have to determine which employees are, and that's the ones we just read. Precautions we'll take, such as offering hepatitis vaccinations to these people, training in bloodborne pathogens, and sharps, how to handle the sharps, and record keeping. It's just a plan to protect our people.
Now, the other question I had, is this the same as, this is the bloodborne pathogens policy?
Yes, in this plan, it addresses the bloodborne pathogen as well as other potentially infectious materials.
And this bloodborne pathogen policy, like you said, is required by OSHA.
It is required by OSHA.
Had the county ever have a policy like this before?
Not to my knowledge, Judge.
And it's been required. This is not something that OSHA just recently required. Correct?
No, this is not a new law.
Okay. And it is vitally important to keep us in compliance in case we had a needle stick or some type of...
It is important to keep us in compliance with, like, a needle stick with the animal shelter. These guys picking up the solid waste, they're encountering a lot of needles. They're also encountering human feces. That this plan addresses all that in our
We had that
protection.
come up in solid waste here a few days ago where somebody was putting out bags of human excrement.
We did.
And has that been addressed? I believe it has.
I'm assuming that Chuck and Judge Heatman addressed that, but
Okay, so that's something we probably need to be in contact with the health department on. Have you already done that, Chuck? Well, we need to make sure that's done. And I think that's important so the people out there will know what our solid waste drivers and the inmate labor has to deal with. I mean, they're dealing with people who are making meth, who are putting, needles, who are putting, when you're handling the trash,
yeah.
there's everything that you can imagine in it. And it's important to know that we're taking the steps required by law to protect our employees. So
We are, and in this plan, Judge, it also outlines the precautions we'll take, like the protective gloves, the handling of the sharps, the marking of the garbage, and certain waste has to be marked in a red bag or whatever.
Is there any question by the court? William, we appreciate your work on this, and appreciate you trying to make sure that we're moving in the right direction in terms of employee safety. Is there a motion to approve adoption of the Pike County Exposure Control Plan relating to occupational exposure of bloodborne pathogens?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? A second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none. Excuse me. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. Next matter is authorization to retain outside counsel to defend the Pike County Fiscal Court in regard to the OSHA action currently pending against the Pike County Fiscal Court. Is there a motion? We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. And just so the public will understand, the court does challenge some of the findings by OSHA. We think that they were, and we need to make sure that we have, Mr. Keene, I don't believe has defended that many OSHA actions. This is a very specialized area of law. I don't really have any experience with it. So we have Mr. Jonathan Shaw, who does a lot of work for the fiscal court, and it would be so we need to clarify the motion to retain Mr. Jonathan Shaw to represent the court in the litigation with OSHA. Is there an amended motion? Commissioner Robertson, is there an amended motion that we probably need to say to retain Mr. Jonathan Shaw in that matter?
Motion.
Amended motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson. Yes. Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. The next matter is approval to remove a portion of Kewanee Road from the Pike County road system, and also I think that needs to be amended to remove that road from the FEMA project that is currently pending. And I want to clarify this. Kewanee Road, last February when we had the federal disaster declaration, I declared disaster, Governor Bevin followed suit, and President Trump. The road essentially is a dirt road that connects the residential area of Kewanee to Forge Branch. And it's built basically on the ledge of a cliff. It's a dirt road, and a large portion of that fell down onto the railroad tracks. And it is a very steep grade down to the railroad tracks, and we have concerns that if that's fixed, there's going to be other areas that are going to break off too. Now, some of the residents down there expressed their concern. They didn't want that road closed. Well, it's been closed for approximately a year. No one had called me. I think some folks had talked to Mr. Little about it. But with the county's financial situation, we think that project is going to cost $500,000 to fix. 75% of that's funded by the federal government, 12% by the state, 13% though has to be borne by the Pike County taxpayers. There's 11 homes in Kewanee. There's 9 occupied structures according to our count. And they have a blacktop road from the residential area all the way down. It comes out at the new Don Blackburn Bridge that we funded when I was in the legislature. That bridge construction saved the folks in Kewanee several minutes drive every day in and out of their area. It's a much safer road. And one of the issues that came up was, well, we can't, what if we can't get a fire department? We can get a fire truck faster if it comes through the Ford Branch side. So Commissioner Robertson called Chief Glenn Atkins at the Millard Fire Department, and that's the Millard service area. And one of the ladies that was upset is actually a member of the fire department. And Commissioner Robertson, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the chief said that there's no way that they would bring a fire truck down that dirt road. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we, with the financial problems we're facing, I'm not sure that the dirt part of that road would even support the weight of a fire truck or a pumper. And if we fix this road and spend $500,000 of taxpayer money on it, there's no guarantee that the next big rain we have is not going to have it in another area. That road out of Kewanee needs to be resurfaced. The money that we would save by not fixing the broken off dirt road will go a long way to help fix some of the major problems on their asphalt. And I think we would be willing to do that in the next fiscal year when we get our flex money and our county road aid money. So it will be my motion to remove the damaged portion of Kewanee Road from the county road system and to delete that project from the FEMA submission that we currently have pending. Is there a second? We have a second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? No. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. And again, the folks in Kewanee have a blacktop road out to US 23 that's much better than this dirt road. And I think that we cannot justify, I understand Commissioner Robertson's reluctance on this, but we can't justify spending $65,000 to open up a dirt road when there's a paved road out the other end of the community. So, next item on the agenda is approval of appointment to the Appalachian Industrial Board, and it would be my motion that we appoint Mr. Greg Johnson of Johnson Industries, I'm sorry, to his term ended on, his term ended on January 26, 2020. And it would be my motion, well, let me rephrase it. Is there a motion to appoint Greg Johnson or reappoint him to the Appalachian Industrial Authority, which is the Gateway Industrial Park Board at Jenkins?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. All right. The next item is authorization to participate in the 2020 Kentucky Waste Tire Management Program and approval to execute all related documents. Mr. Morley, can you come up and give us an explanation, please? We're going to take a break for a second.
It's something that the state offers every 3 years, and it's no cost to the county other than some advertisement, and have 4 available employees there to help with the process. But they take the tire, they're going to be taking these tires out of our county for free. It just gives the opportunity to get rid of some of the tires that people has out here. And tires is a big issue anyways. And I mean, I would urge you guys to go ahead and do this agreement.
It's basically, it's removing tires from the county that we would otherwise have
Otherwise,
to
be paying for.
Is there a motion to approve the 2020 Kentucky Waste Tire Management Program Agreement and approval to execute all related documents? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
It'll be June 11th and 12th, which is Thursday and Friday, and on the 13th, half day Saturday, they'll be available. And half a day Saturday, which is the 11th, 12th, and 13th of June is when they have us scheduled for.
Chuck, are we still looking to see other solutions to this tire problem? I said, are we still looking for other solutions to this tire problem?
We are. Me and Ronnie was talking about that the other day.
I mean, you go up on the mount, up forward mountain there and look at them, they're just, you can't haul them off quick enough.
Right. We've got a massive amount of tires coming in, and that's why this is important that we do this. I mean, it just helps us get some of them out of here in those 3 days. And people generally take advantage of it where it's free of charge.
It is.
The only thing they won't accept foam-filled tires. They will take tires on the rim, but not foam-filled or anything with a bead over 1 3/4 inches. Other than that, they will accept them.
Chuck, when we go up there to Lot 1, there's a lot of tires there.
There is.
I mean, I know we're not collecting all the money for those tires, are we?
That's correct. We're not. People brings them up there and drops them off,
We-
which is better than them throwing them over the hill. I mean,
Well, that's
it's
true,
It's
too.
a double-edged sword there.
So we're just stuck with tires, aren't we?
It's a major issue. It sure
County
is.
may need to buy a recapping machine or something.
All right. Just a brief question. Would anybody be opposed to taking a 5-minute recess? I do want to welcome, before we take a quick recess, Appalachian News Express publisher, Mr. Jeff Vanderbeck, who is recovering from recent hip surgery. Mr. Vanderbeck, welcome. Good seeing you out. Hope your hip's doing better than my shoulder is. Well, I'm not sure this one's any better than that one, so. That is correct. So anyway, let the court stand in recess for 5 minutes for a quick break, and then we'll return momentarily and try to move through the rest of this agenda. We'll call the court to order. Ask everyone to please take a seat. Remind everyone to turn the phones off. Mr. Courtney, how are you doing, sir? Yes, sir. You hang around till after the meeting? Tennis? Not with this shoulder, no. Not even on Xbox. The thought of that would hurt just thinking about it. All right. Where's my agenda? Okay, before I make sure I've not missed anything, I don't know if anybody's here to do the Trails Advisory Board update. I think let's pass over that to the next meeting because it's going to be late, and the four of us have to leave about 6:30 in the morning to go to a conference. So we'll pass over that. Let's put that on the next meeting. Is there any objection? Pass over the Trails Advisory. Okay. And then the next item is there's approval of amendments to the lease agreement with Berkeley Land and Berkeley Development. Though Mr. Keene has found a problem in those leases that are going to have to be redone. Let's put that on the next court meeting. That'll give us time to look over them and make a correction if you'll call those folks and let them know. All right, the next item is awarding of bids. Mr. Phantom, are you ready to proceed, sir? How many bids do we have?
Yes, Judge, thank you. We do have a couple of issues we need to discuss.
Okay, where are those? Have we got the bid documents?
Yes, you should have.
I do not see those in my packet. Only thing I have is this right here.
Yes, sir. These are, talking about the trucks, these are things that are on state contract. They actually don't have to be bid. We just want to go over them and get approved for the court. Issue I'd like to discuss first is an issue.
Let me clarify this. These are state contract,
Yes, sir.
and they're on, these are for the 11 yards, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct? All right, so, I'm sorry for interrupting you, please proceed.
I would like to go over, first of all, another issue that we have. It is an issue we had about a week and a half ago with a 40-ton Landau trailer that we have. It's the trailer that we use to move our bigger equipment, mostly with our road department equipment. We also use it when we have to move some of our larger pieces of equipment with our solid waste department. About a week and a half ago, I guess it came to Road Supervisor Little's attention that I guess the integrity of the trailer had been compromised. There was a lot of rusting, some breakage, some warping, and it became a safety issue, and he had to take it out of service. We kind of went in emergency mode at that point because we realized that's the only thing we had to move our bigger equipment from job to job around the county. We knew that if we had to hire a contractor every time we had to have a piece of equipment moved, it could cost as much as $800 to $1,000 every time we needed a piece of equipment moved. So we kind of went into emergency mode, tried to look to see what was available, what we could get. We looked in a multi-state area, pretty much everything on the eastern part of the United States. We did locate 8 or 10 similar trailers that were for sale, pre-owned trailers. We kind of were focusing on a 40-ton Landau trailer that was in Casey, Iowa, about an hour west of Des Moines, that we wanted to go look at. But when we looked at some close-up pictures of underneath, it looked like there was a tremendous amount of rust that had just been painted over with black paint. And it was in the $45,000 to $50,000 range. We didn't want to get into that. There were several trailers in the north, Michigan, a couple in New York, one in Pennsylvania. We were concerned about the rust that they were exposed to in the north, and we decided we wanted to kind of try to stay away from those. We did find a 40-ton trailer in DeLand, Florida, which wouldn't have been exposed to the salt, I wouldn't have thought, but it was a Trailese brand that we weren't familiar with. We tried to do some research on that brand and didn't find any real good reviews on it. At that point, we kind of started looking to see what it would cost us to possibly replace that trailer with a new trailer. We looked at a new 40-ton Landau trailer. Martin's Peterbilt in Prestonsburg is a Landau dealer. They didn't have one in inventory, but they did have one like we needed, a 48-footer and a 40-ton on order that should be there the end of March or 1st of April. The cost on that trailer was $92,950. We did some more investigating and found out we're asking about another type of trailer, which is a Trail King, which is a top-of-the-line trailer like that. Wayne Supply is a dealer for the Trail King trailer. After discussions with them, we found out that they did have one on the ground in Louisville, and we were going to try to go down and look at it, and then we finally asked if it would be possible for them to move that trailer to Pike for us to look at, which they did. Something else we found out is that Trail King is on our Sourcewell contract, which is a buying co-op that we are a member of, which would give us a significant amount of savings on the purchase of it. There were 4 of us that went up, I think Thursday or Friday, to Wayne Supply to take a look at this trailer. I think we saw that there were some advantages of this trailer even over the Landau that we were originally looking for. I think one of the biggest things that we saw was on the major jacks that move the axles back and forth. How this trailer operates is when the axles move back and forth, it lifts the front end of the trailer for loading and unloading. And one of the major things we saw that was an advantage with the Trail King was when the trailer was all the way down in the haul mode, the jacks were all the way in, not exposing the chrome cylinders to weather and other abrasive things that they could be exposed to while extended, where the Landau trailer, when it is in the down mode or hauling mode, the cylinders are completely exposed. Another thing we saw on the Trail King trailer was that they had grease banks, which means all the grease plugs were more or less in one place to grease the trailer. We were really impressed when looking at the Trail King trailer, and we think that's something that will last us for years and years. It's not like buying some kind of a used trailer for maybe half the price that we get a few years out of and be in the same situation. By being able to buy this Trail King trailer on our Sourcewell contract, it will save us quite a bit of money over the retail price. The price that we can buy through the Sourcewell contract is $84,612, and I would recommend to the court that that may be our best option.
So, give me the price on the Trail King.
Price of the Trail King from Wayne Supply is $84,612.
Okay. Is there a motion, and let me, so the public that's watching this will understand, this trailer is used to haul our heavy equipment to do road work throughout the county. If we've got a garbage truck down, that's how we haul them.
Correct.
Saves us a lot of money, saves us a lot of wear and tear, and the existing trailer is basically rusted the frame's basically rusted through. Is that correct?
It's to a
Commissioner.
point to where it's beyond repair. What repairs could be done would cost well more than what the trailer is worth.
This is not.
Well, it got where we had to have something, we had to have it quick. We can't be down 2 or 3 months trying to get a trailer, Judge.
Well, and the flip side of this is it helps us with one of the pieces of our capital plan. This is why it's so important that we put money aside, because if we don't have money to fulfill this capital plan, you're not gonna have equipment to work on these roads or pick the garbage up. And so it would be, is there a motion to authorize the purchase of a Trail King trailer from Wayne Supply for the amount of $84,612 from the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op, or through the Sourcewell Purchasing Co-op? We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Is there any other question or discussion? And Frankie, procurement code does authorize these purchasing cooperatives, correct? Okay. All right, so we have motion and second. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
All right, yes. Next item, Mr. Fanning.
Yes, just follow up on that trailer. When we first started looking at maybe replacing that trailer, we thought about maybe going with a 60-ton trailer. We did a little math and a little research and realized that with what equipment we have or what equipment we expect to buy, about 28 or 29 ton is the most we would ever haul on that trailer, so the 40-ton was plenty trailer. Second item that we have is something we've talked about for several months, is the need for a couple of 11 or 12-yard in-dump compactor trucks. When I started looking into this and trying to discuss it with some of the vendors, I found that, you've got a body company that produces the bodies, you've got a trucking company that produces the trucks. So you either get quotes and bids from a trucking company and they add on the body, or you get quotes from the body company and they put the chassis underneath it. Well, I mean, this is stuff that is sold in tremendous amounts throughout the country, and stuff's all on state contract. All the body companies are on state contract, all the truck manufacturers on state contract. So at that point, what I did is just tried to acquire bids, trying to put packages together like we had discussed, and trying to get some bids on those trucks.
So let me just run through these, because we've been here a while. So Martin's Peterbilt gave 3 quotes. One was for a Peterbilt with a New Wave Viper body, one was with a Heil body, one was with a Packmore. The lead times, meaning it would be at least 8 months for the New Wave Vapor, 4 months for the Heil, and 5 months for the Packmore, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and the cost of those were respectively $141,992, $144,001, and $136,501. And it looks like the next one was Worldwide Equipment. This court does have a relationship with Worldwide through our lease program. One was a Kenworth for the Packmore, 6-month wait, $124,169. Second one was a Kenworth with a New Wave Vapor with an 8-month lead time of $129,660. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the third bid was for municipal equipment. One was with an international truck. It was a New Wave Vapor, available now for $131,630.92. The other one was a Freightliner New Wave Vapor, one available now, one available in 30 days for $129,964. So my question is this, and this goes to Mr. Morley. He's the guy that runs. Chuck, how quick do you need the trucks?
Tomorrow. But I mean, I know that's not possible because we've still got but the quickest we're gonna get one's through municipal equipment. They have the trucks sitting there ready, and the only thing they have to do is put their tippers on it.
So the problem is, if you look at these other two, you're talking lead times between 5 and 8 months. Will this equipment that we're using right now get us through 5 or 8 months?
I think you need to call Darren up here and ask him, but my opinion is no.
Darren, come on up.
Judge, I would like to interrupt if I could. Since I turned the sheet in that you have yesterday afternoon, I've received 2 other quotes. I'd like to go over those quotes real quick with you also.
Can you print that? Can we make a copy of that real quick so we can have it to look at?
Well, I got this one before the court meeting started.
But
What's that?
New Way also, I got,
Hang on one second, Chad.
I got this right before the court meeting started.
Okay, is
The last
there another one?
There's actually 2 more bids
Okay,
I
let's
have.
take a quick break, let Jeannie run and copy those for the members so we can keep them in their packets, because they'll want copies of those. So let's just stand at ease for a second. Jeannie, can you get copies? Judge Hickman will need a copy, Kevin will need a copy, Frankie will need a copy probably. Get several copies real quick. And Darren, while she's copying that, we had our leadership meeting today. You came over. I guess JJ's off right now. But you came over and we asked, first of all, I asked a question. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but I asked you today about the where we are on our mini packer fleet, and your response was?
I think we need to replace quite a few of them.
Well, then how many's quite a few? We got 11 of them.
Right now, we have 7 solid waste vehicles in our maintenance garage to be worked on. We have 03 mini packers that we're still running that should not be on the road. Our 06s should have been replaced, and our 09s are just about beyond going. Problem that we're having is it's repeat problems, same things, fuel injectors, fuel injector pumps. Things are going down and are very high, costly repairs. But like I said today too, until we get a preventive maintenance program in place too, to where we can prolong the life of some of these trucks and a replacement program in place, then we're going to continue to have these problems, I think. We got to look at too our 16 and 15 model GU 813 Max are still under warranty on the emission side. I've got one in Louisa now, one's going down in the morning, and those things are getting real close to the warranty being up on them. Then that's going to be a cost there that we're going to have to absorb. And you know, that stuff's not cheap. And our 07 Packers, 06 and 07 Packers, they're just about beyond going also.
If we wait 5 to 8 months, are we going to have trouble keeping this stuff on the road?
Yeah, you're going to have, we already have problems. I mean, it's just, we have 4 mechanics. And right now, we've got 24 vehicles sitting that need to be repaired right now. And these are repairs that are not 2 or 3 hour repairs. You know, some of this stuff is, well, we got 3 engines.
Here's my question. We came in, we've been in office a year. We've really not bought but 3 new vehicles. We bought some used trucks for our solid waste supervisors because we didn't want to put people up picking bulk garbage up in new pickups. Why was there no maintenance? How many years you been with the county?
17 years.
Explain to me why we don't have a preventive maintenance. Now, we've got a software program that tracks all the maintenance that's done, correct?
Correct.
So if you pull a truck in, you put that tag, that VIN number, whatever in, truck number, and you know everything's been done to it and when. Mm-hmm. But nobody's sitting over there saying, you know, this truck needs to be come in for this or this needs to be brought in for that. I mean, are we just, is it that haphazard?
What I'm talking about with preventive maintenance is, let's say we have a solid waste truck that is in Elkhorn. We don't, if we've got qualified people that can actually do the oil changes, the greasing, and check these trucks out when they're doing this, and then they can record things that are wrong with them. Our drivers are responsible for the oil changes now. Some of these drivers are not able to identify problems that a qualified mechanic could see and stop that before it becomes a problem.
Well, how do we do that then? I mean, do we bring these drivers in and try to give them a class on or some training on what to be looking for?
With anything, training is a big key. I'll grant you that. But I would like to see us I know it's hard right now with the cuts and what we're trying to do, but I'd like to see us put someone in charge of a preventive maintenance deal that takes care of the oil changes and the greasing and can check these trucks out the way they need to be checked. All equipment. Because not only does the solid waste have that, we have road department vehicles over there too. We have 13 road department vehicles that are down right now, that these guys, if we have a snow, they gotta have their vehicles to push snow.
Right now, if we have a major snow event, we're gonna be really unlikely to be able to keep the roads clean. I mean, we inherited this equipment.
Understand?
We've had to make cuts. We've had to raise the solid waste rates. I mean, people don't realize where we are. And, you know, while we have some money, you know, what we really, I don't want to do, you know, what the court would, their opinion is, if you go out here and lease something or you finance it for years, you may be saddling the future court with, you know, bonding. You know, we had this prior administration bonded these 6 Dodge Mini Packers, and we bought them out of the lease early, but the other vehicles, we're still paying for those things, and they're going to be worn out before they're paid for.
Exactly.
Is there another 3 years or better on that, Frankie? 40? I mean,
A little over halfway on the lease, 7-year lease.
so, I mean, you know, when you lease garbage trucks, 7 years is their useful lifetime. They're paid off. They're worn out. So we've got these 2 other quotes here. Looks like Stringfellow was a Freightliner with a Heil body, one available in 30 days, one in 3 months, $129,351. Then we have Best Equipment with a Freightliner and a Loadmaster body. Is that correct, or is it? What kind of body was on the Freightliners, Greg?
Loadmaster, are you talking about on this,
Best Equipment, yeah.
Loadmaster.
And that Loadmaster, for $138,967.
That is a 2019 model, and the other one that they have here is a 2020 model for $38,967.
So one's a
About
19 model and
$2,100.
one's a 2020 model, correct?
Pardon?
One's a 19 model and one's a 20 model.
Correct.
So we've established that we need trucks now. 24 vehicles there to work on, right?
Sir.
7 solid waste vehicles.
Darren, how many of those is, road department trucks?
13 road department, 7 solid waste, and 2 to 3 Paul's public works right now. He has a truck with an engine down still.
You can go back to what I said earlier. If you all think that this is sustainable, we're kidding ourselves. You're getting ready to see some massive cuts because we can't replace this many vehicles and this much equipment in the time frame that we're going to have to do it. That's my opinion. But Chuck, you're the guy that runs it. Do you need them now, or can you wait months?
Now, and I'm also, these Freightliners, I don't know much, you know, about them, but I've asked several vendors that, you know, just body vendors about the Freightliners, and they said they've had no trouble with them. And they're just body vendors, and they don't care. They put any chassis in them you want. None of them's giving me any negative feedback on the Freightliner.
Which body would you prefer, the New Way Viper or the Loadmaster?
The New Way Viper's gonna come in at the best price.
Which is the best? Which is going to give us the best?
I've actually I have no knowledge of the Loadmaster whatsoever.
Brian, what do you got some familiar?
I just tell you, I don't like the International, I don't like the Parkline. I think that you'll be going back the same as the Dodge. You'll be sitting here and saying that we shouldn't have bought that. I mean, I'm just a Peterbilt or a Kenworth guy. I think that you'll come down 4 to 5 years down the road and say, boy, we messed up. Especially, I think it's worth the wait and what you're getting. And you can ask,
I think he's inclined to go with the Peterbilt, but here's the problem.
I know you're looking at a wait.
Well,
You get what you pay for, and I don't think that jumping in and buying something and you sit back and say, boy, we should have bought that, because I think we'll be the same boat as we are on the Dodge if we go with the International.
But here's your problem. We can't pick. We got 7 vehicles down. Now, they're going to be calling when their garbage ain't getting picked up. They're going to be on Facebook. They're going to be upset about it. And we've got That's just a fact. We can't pick it up, and we're going, in the next 5 to 8 months, you're gonna spend, how much money are we gonna spend on these trucks?
I would have to get the numbers on that, I mean,
Is it substantial?
yeah, yeah,
I
Well, it
mean,
looks like to me, every 5 years, you're gonna have to change these Packers out anyway.
5 to 8.
Because you're sitting over here, he was just telling me about a 16 model. It's not even they're tearing up all the time too, right?
we're running 03 models.
Well,
Well, I mean, I was talking about the big Packers.
I know.
I was talking about the big Packer trucks. He said
That's
the
what
warranty's about ready to outrun off them.
we gotta look at everything as a whole, and
Right.
those are in our fleet, and at 100,000 miles, the emission warranty will be gone. We're at 98,000 on one of them, it's done it right now, getting injector cups put in it, it's supposed to be ready in the morning. The other one I'm sending down is right at 60,000, so you're getting close on all of them. And then once that's gone, then that's all the warranty, then it's up to us to take care of that also.
And then we can end up with another $780,000.
On these trucks, with this emissions the way it is, that's what's killer. It don't matter what you buy, you're gonna pay, because, the software to check them, the parts to, replace, it's gone crazy high. It's just ridiculous.
Well, we've got an opportunity. We need to act on it. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm one vote. You're setting Chuck up to fail if we don't get him some equipment. And we can't wait 5 to 8 months, because Chuck, can we wait 5 to 8 months to get trucks?
No, there's no, I honestly don't think we can wait. We should have already had trucks.
Something I would like to say, Judge, what we've discovered through some research is big majority of the trucks in this country that are Packer trucks this size run Freightliner trucks.
Reggie, Judge Hickman, I saw one yesterday. I saw an 11-yard in Lexington. Some other municipality on the interstate was a Freightliner.
Couple of things that I found about a Freightliner truck that's going to be an advantage to us. The Freightliner truck is built on a little bit lower platform, a little lower profile platform. The Freightliner truck runs with 19.5 tires instead of 22.5 tires. So it sets a little lower, makes it a lot easier for the driver and safer for the driver to get in and out of.
Easier to load.
Also the Freightliner has a lot better turning radius. We're going to use these trucks in the outer edges of our county roads, where roads are tight, narrow, hard to turn around. Freightliners have a better turning radius than some of these other trucks. Something else too, with these municipal equipment bids, one of these bids from Best Equipment has a tipper on it. We want to put tippers on these trucks. These aren't bid with tippers on them. This Best Equipment is bid with a tipper on it, but it's not the kind of tipper that we can use. It's not wide enough. We want to put the Perkins tipper on it. The Howe bed is not with. It's got a different kind of tipper on it than what we would want. The Perkins tipper is the one we would want. The Perkins tipper is on state contract for $7,500, but municipal equipment has told us that they will provide the Perkins tipper and install it if we bought these trucks for $4,500. So they'll sell it to us and install it for $3,000 less than what the Perkins tipper is on state contract for. And their trucks are available now.
Guys, y'all make the call.
Another thing I want to add is that me and Mr. Reed, which is foreman up there at Area 2, actually took out one of these Freightliners with 11-yard body on it and was very successful about getting in some very tight places. I've never drove any of these other trucks, Kenworth, Peterbilt, or any of these other international, for that matter, the the medium-duty trucks. So I don't know if they get us into the places that I know firsthand the Freightliner will. As far as the service that you get out of Freightliner, I cannot answer that. I'd be looking at the crystal ball because
This is the only thing I say, Chuck. Get what you pay for.
Well, sir.
And the other thing is, these Freightliners, when they break down or when they run out of warranty, we're going to be hauling them to Bristol, Tennessee, or we're going to be hauling them to Street Okanova. We have nobody here that's got parts for Freightliner. And does the Freightliners have a differential lock?
that I do not know.
These trucks need a differential lock on them.
Sir, do you have something?
The Best Equipment
Well, that's not what it says on this here.
Well, I mean, my motion would be to get the international or the Freightliner that's available, because 5 to 8 months, we can't cover this. And if they don't work, then I'll stand accountable for it. But I can't expect Chuck to be able to pick his garbage up without trucks. You don't have trucks. You got 7 trucks down right now. And I mean, there's no way to fix that other than getting trucks.
This will all have to be rebid too if you go in, because we're looking at this on state contract where municipal equipment has the state contract on the bodies. I'm not sure about the rest of it, you know, who's got on the chassis or what have you.
Now, what I have found is that like, municipal equipment has the body and the truck on state contract. Now, what they do is on some of these, like if you buy it from a body company, they put the chassis under it on the invoice as a non-published option, more or less like it's an option on the body. And some of these, if you buy from the trucking company and the truck's on contract, you buy, you know, the bed installed on it as a non-published option. So, you know, you're buying it under contract, it's, you know, put together as an option. But now through municipal equipment, the truck and the body is both on state contract.
How many of these trucks you needing, Chuck?
I need at least one for each lot, but right now I'm asking for 2.
I mean, can you go with Freightliner this time and Peterbilt next time? I mean,
We don't want to mix it up now. We do not want to do that. We want to.
I mean, I was just looking at a solution for everybody here, you know.
I don't think Darren would advise us to mix chassis.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I understand the situation. You know, we took this job to get the county on track and get this garbage stuff taken care of. I do understand that, you know. I've not run big heavy-duty trucks, but, you know, a lot of my friends have got Peterbilts and Kenworths and Freightliners and Western Stars and everything else. But
I drove an international garbage truck, I drove a Kenworth garbage truck, and I drove a Peterbilt garbage truck, and you ain't gonna beat the Peterbilt.
Frame-wise and everything.
The only problem is we can't get them right now.
I know, but still, you're not.
We've been a year and something working on this.
Yeah, but we're coming to a head on this. I mean, it might,
I agree with that.
I mean,
But I say keep patching them until we get the right truck we want.
right now, you don't have trucks. Do you have trucks pick the garbage up this week to get it off?
How many we got down right now, Darren? We've had 2 Packers down today for different things, and I'm not sure about mini Packers.
7 right now, and you've got one in Louisa that's supposed to be coming back in the morning and another one going down. So.
And that's another problem we got. I mean,
Shipping them out.
we got to take them so far to get them worked on.
Need to buy right, you need to buy good trucks.
One other thing that I'd like to say, and Chuck and I kind of discussed this the other day. If we decide that we would rather have a truck and a body that's extended lead time, I mean, it's possible these easy dump trucks that we put in service are doing a tremendous job. Of course, they don't haul as much as an 11-yard would, but I mean, if we decide to buy a truck that has a longer lead time, we might consider, and have to have them anyway, we might consider buying another couple of easy dumps.
We got one more.
Trucks to kind of fill in until those trucks get here.
Have we bought that other one yet?
No, we have 4 right now. We have not.
Well, I thought I'd see. That was I said last court meeting, we were supposed to get that done. I mean, you know, here's my situation. I'm the one that gets the calls, most of them, when the garbage ain't getting picked up. I'm the one that gets the blame for raising the garbage rates. I'm the one that everybody, you know, Kevin walks out of the hospital today. Somebody says, well, you got to tell Ray to quit raising garbage rates. You know, they've not gone up this year. But when they're pointing that at me, don't really get blamed for the court. I'm the guy that's getting the blame for it. But yet they call and we can't pick the garbage up 4 to 5 months from now, and that's a problem. And we have to wait 4 to 8 months on these trucks. You can't, you're putting him up to, you can't, you're setting him up to not be able to pick the garbage up.
I say we have to patch what we got and we get the right truck. That's all I can say.
Well, is there a motion?
Freightliner's not the right truck, or International's not the right truck. Peterbilt's the right truck, or.
I mean, I'm not sure there's a dime's worth of, I'm not sure there's,
Get something that's going to get us, get our garbage picked up, that's the way I look at it. I mean, whatever, however we gotta go, it's not nothing against Ronnie or Brian or Judge or whoever else, I mean, that's.
We could have trouble with any truck we purchase. We have no way of knowing what we're gonna have trouble with.
Sit here and talk about this dollars, but, you know, then we got some other Chevrolet that's doing the same thing, or other Ford's doing the same thing.
you're gonna have trouble with anything that,
Yeah, I want to keep money local as I can, but, you know, we're dealing with a situation, you know, that's one.
my motion, and I don't know if there'll be a second or not, but my motion, we buy 2 vehicles from either Freightliner or International from municipal equipment and get them on the road and get some, so we can pick this stuff up. Because over the next 4 to 8 months, you're gonna spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff that you're gonna be taking off the road. And we're pouring good money after bad. And, you know, I don't know much about any of them. You know, some people prefer Dodge, some people prefer Ford, some people, I'm sure we could bring people in here that would prefer International, say it's the best truck ever, or Western Star, or Kenworth, or Peterbilt, or Freightliner. But the simple fact of the matter is, I think we need trucks now. I would move, I don't know if there's a second or not, that we buy either 2 Internationals or 2 Freightliners right now to get this stuff picked up. If there's not a second, then, you know, there's not a second. My motion.
I second the motion, let's buy trucks. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna say that.
So, I mean, we either need to get the Internationals or Freightliners.
I didn't say Peterbilt or Kenworth or International, whatever.
Well, look,
I make the motion, let's get the garbage done.
My question is, are you seconding my motion that we either buy the Internationals or Freightliners that are available right now? Okay. Is there any other discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
No.
Commissioner Tackett,
Yes.
Commissioner Booth,
No.
Judge Jones.
Yes. So we're at a stalemate. First time this happened. No, I can't. You can't break that one. So, what's that? No, it's only on personnel. So, is there? If you all have a motion that you all want to make, we'll entertain that one. Because if you wait another one, you're going to be 2 more weeks, you know, it's going to be that much longer.
I'm just gonna say, we need that other easy dump, and we'll patch this stuff until we decide what we wanna do. But you all have decided on the Freightliner and the International. I vote no on it. That's, you know, I just make it clear.
Do you want to make a motion to buy some other kind of truck?
I make a motion, we buy a Peterbilt.
With which body?
The Packmore,
Which one?
the Packmore.
Well, Chuck, do we have a preference on?
You've
which
got
body?
2 times the truck, Judge, in a Peterbilt than you got in a Freightliner.
2 what?
2 times the truck. There's no comparison. I've owned a Freightliner.
You're buying Dodges again, buying Freightliners.
I'm gonna give the people this county their money's worth. And the Peterbilt is the way to go on these trucks.
So is the motion to buy the Packmores? Chuck, do you have a preference on which one you would buy?
It has to either be, it can't be a haul because it's not wide enough to dump our easy dumps on if it was to happen. So other than that, I have no preference on body.
Does
I
the,
asked Darren because most of our trucks are new way and he may have a preference to that for parts availability. I do not know.
Does the Packmore have the latches, the turnbuckles on the back? It's less welding down the road.
We got a motion to buy, by Commissioner Robertson, to buy the Packmores, correct, in the Peterbilts
Yes.
from Martin's Peterbilt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner.
I gotta interrupt you. That'll have to be put out to bid, because unless Martin's has state contract on their chassis, I don't know. If they don't, that will have to be put out to bid, because we can't buy without putting it out for bid unless it's on state contract.
So I'm thoroughly confused now, because I thought, Greg, you said these were on state
No,
contract.
he said it first, this wasn't a bid.
It wasn't bid, but
Right.
I thought you
But
said
you
it was.
could buy off state
These
contract.
is quotes.
It's quotes.
Hang on a minute. Greg, do we have to bid these?
The Peterbilt, I was thinking was on state contract.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
you
know.
got representatives from Peterbilt. Are they state contract price or not? No. Then they gotta be bid.
We'd have, if we go with the Peterbilt with Packmore, we'll have to bid.
Well, you need to put the bids out.
I thought we were supposed to do that last week.
No, not on that. What we talked about last week.
The Packmore is on contract through Sourcewell. So you could buy the Packmore through the Sourcewell contract with the Peterbilt as a non-published option. So you could actually buy the Peterbilt with the Packmore bed without bidding.
Russ, how many days we out getting the chassis?
Chassis, as of my last conversation, because I did this sales going to the city of Pikeville, right now, if I place the order on the truck tomorrow, I would say chassis would be on the ground or on the way to the body company by the end of March, 1st of April. The body company would be the holdup on the whole project.
Let's back up. So you're saying that we could buy Peterbilts on state contract with the Packmore beds through municipal?
Through municipal.
I'm,
Mid-state.
Mid-state.
He's saying it's on Sourcewell. I had forgot that option. I was talking about just state contract, Judge.
I don't see anything about mid-state on here. Okay, I mean, I can only go with what I've got here.
That's Packmore. That's sold by Mid-State.
So let's back up. First thing is, let's get a bid out for another easy dump this week and a pickup. Because, I mean, we're gonna have to have that anyway, and we can't pick the garbage up.
I discussed that with him the other day, said he could have an easy dump to us within 30 days.
Okay. So we need to get a hold of whoever we have to do, get the bids put out for F-350. So going back to these, our options for Peterbilts are either to bid them with these bodies as an MPO, correct?
You could buy the Packmore through the Sourcewell contract and have the Peterbilt truck put on as a non-published option and wouldn't have to bid it.
You wouldn't have to bid the trucks or just the?
No, sir. If the Packmore body is on Sourcewell contract, you can buy that from, with Packmore.
Right.
And they would put the chassis under it as an option for that body.
Because you can't have one without the other.
Get three people talking, guys. It's been a long day. So, Greg, so as I understand this, we could buy off state contract price or the Sourcewell, we could buy the bodies.
Yes, sir.
Will we have to bid the trucks out separately?
No, sir. They would put it on the invoice with the Packmore body as an option.
Okay. Do we have a price on that?
Yes, sir, we do. $136,501.
So we don't have to bid them, is what I'm saying?
No, sir.
Okay. We don't have to bid them. So Chuck? We don't have to bid them. Okay.
I forgot about the Sourcewell, Judge. I was talking about state contract.
Thank you for thoroughly confusing all of us at 9 o'clock tonight.
I just didn't want to get in too deep.
Sorry, Judge.
So, hang on a second. We've got a matter before the court here. This is not open session here. So, we've got a motion by Commissioner Robertson to buy the Peterbilt with the Packmore at a cost of $136,501 through the Sourcewell contract. That's okay, correct, Frankie?
We're buying two of them.
Buying two of them.
Yes, make sure.
Okay, to purchase two, correct, is that your motion, Commissioner Robertson?
Yeah, unless you let me buy 3 or 4.
Let's do two now.
All right. And get the other easy done.
He's gonna get that, have that for us at the next court meeting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we should have that in 30 days. We should have another one of those on the road, correct, roughly?
Yes, sir.
If we can get the truck, right?
So we should be able to get
We'll get a truck.
All right.
So we should,
So my question is, so we can do, right, Frankie, we can do this?
without bidding it. Do source,
They're a co-op, a purchasing co-op, Sourcewell.
So is it still 5 months out?
yes.
Yeah, the lead time is still be 42.
So your motion, we have,
Clarify that.
4th of July.
The chassis is not 5 months out. The body is out 5 months.
The body is out longer
Actual body
than the
is what's
chassis
out.
is correct.
Peterbilt truck is March. Is that correct, guys?
March to, yeah, the chassis would be there before the body would be ready to be complete.
Can't speed that up any? Well, we'll worry about the body company. Can we speed you up on the truck? 2 trucks.
Get there before their body's ready. I'm waiting on them.
Well, we'll get on the body company and see if we can't speed them up. We're in dire need.
so you're talking about, let me clarify this. Can you make a motion to purchase 2 Peterbilts with pack mowers through the Sourcewell state contract price at a price of $136,501?
I will make that motion.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Any other question or discussion?
You guys truck that.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
No. Commissioner Tackett, yes?
Yes, get it?
So the motion carries, and we will start the process of purchasing the Peterbilts with the pack mowers through Sourcewell. Greg, if you can, please just try to get them to speed it up as fast as possible.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Greg, thanks for all the hard work. We appreciate this. This is,
Sorry if it was a little confusing.
well, it wasn't you. It was Mr. Morley confusing the heck out of all those.
I was just talking about state contract, Judge. I'm sorry.
He got me confused.
We're blaming on Chuck.
He got me confused. Thank you, Judge.
That's all right. Chuck can buy dinner. Chuck can buy dinner here in a few minutes. All right. So, any other business, Mr. Fanning? So we have, next matter is Pike County Road Supervisor's Report and approval of the Pike County Commissioners' recommended road maintenance list. Mr. Little, would you come up, please? And give us an update on where you are, what your equipment issues are right now, and what work's been done.
Judge, I'm happy to say for the first time in a while, we do have all excavators running right now. It's been quite a while since we've had that. We even have our spare up and running, so maybe we can get some of these ditch lines pulled. Other than that, I think everything pretty much is self-explanatory in our road work. I mean, we've been working as much as we can, doing pretty good.
We have talked about making sure that we're getting back to places where we've not been able to get to with our, trying to go back and double check to make sure that roads where ditches may not have been pulled or we've got major issues with drains and so forth are going to be addressed first, correct?
Correct.
And we have here the road department progress report. And is there a motion to approve the road progress report and the recommended road maintenance list for the next 2-week period?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Booth. Any question, discussion, addition, or amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Next item is County Treasurer's report. Please proceed, Mr. Stacy.
First thing I have would be to acknowledge receipt of the calendar year 2020 maximum salary authorizations required by KRS 64.5275 for the county judge, executive, county clerk, county sheriff, and the county jailer.
Is there a motion to acknowledge?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the calendar year 2020 maximum salaries for the county commissioners, magistrates, coroners, and county attorney.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of this calendar year 2020 maximum salaries for county commissioners, magistrates, and coroners and county attorney?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
What do you say?
Yeah, you got it, don't you?
What were you?
Let's vote. Go ahead.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robertson. Everybody's getting slap happy. We've been here so long. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Last thing I have would be to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Interlocal 911 Board Audit. It's actually for 4 years for fiscal years 2016 through 2019. And there were no findings in all 4 years, so it's a clean report.
All right. Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the Pike County Interlocal 911 Board Audit for fiscal years 2016 to 2019? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
One last thing would be our audit for the fiscal court for fiscal year ending June 30, 2019 is in the review stage at the state auditor's office, and I think they're expecting maybe about 2 to 3 weeks that we should get a released report. So, just
Any idea how that audit's going to go, Mr. Stacy?
it'll be much cleaner than the prior year.
That's not saying much.
Much cleaner.
Will they actually be able to render an opinion?
Yes.
Thank you. Very good. No disclaimers on the opinion, huh?
No.
All right. Next matter is executive session. There is a need. Is there a motion? First of all, Mr. King, would you please read the relevant Kentucky Revised Statutes, because we do have some matters to deal with litigation and prospective litigation.
We have personnel in that too.
I would think so. Just go ahead and read it.
Okay. 61.810 subsection C and F.
All right. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Yes. Judge Jones?
Yes. We are in recess for executive session and we'll return on call the chair. All right, we'll call the court back to order. Is there a motion?
Motion.
To buy dinner? Okay. Is there a motion to exit executive session?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. We have a second by Commissioner Robertson, and Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Yes. Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. We have no personnel matters tonight. Just for purpose of updating the press, Mr. Keene and I, mostly Mr. Keene, was able to obtain summary judgment against RCC Big Shoal for $300,000 in principal plus interest per the terms of the agreement. Mr. Stacy, I'd like for you, if you could, to calculate what the amount that's actually due is, because Part of that interest would have been calculated on 400,000. If you could get me a total on that, it's probably somewhere in the 1.1 million range, and then we'll keep the public updated as we move forward with our collection efforts. Then we have Pike County Department Supervisors' comments. Anything from anybody else tonight? Chuck? I hope this is not regarding the procurement code.
No, the only thing is, Judge, I forgot to mention that the waste tire collection, it does not apply to dealers or scrap yards.
We're going to take that up at the next meeting. And Commissioner Booth is going to let us borrow his new Chevrolet on solid waste this week.
Desperate need of some mowers. I know that money's tight, but that's something we need to be thinking about, is trying to figure out a way that we can probably get at least 3 weed mowers, because, you know, last year that was a big problem. We stayed behind all year, and we tried to
Let's get with Mr. Fannin and Mr. Stacy on Monday, or on tomorrow. Well, you'll be gone tomorrow. Yeah. Let's get with them Monday.
Judge, in March, they're having another sale in Alabama. They had all kinds of tractors down there.
And Judge, he is correct, and they actually sent me a brochure. They are going to have a few of the tractors. The ones I saw may be a little bigger than what we could use, but still, though, they have a lot of equipment there.
Well, let's plan on going back down there, because March, but do they have mowers down there?
They do, and honestly, that would be a really good thing for us, because we did buy 2 really good pieces of equipment at a pretty good price.
Okay. So let's plan on going back there in March. Okay. We will keep that in mind.
Fabian.
Yes.
The mowers that the previous court bought with just the sickle blades on it, can't we change those over?
Yes, we can. The thing, and that's what we do need to do. I've been trying to get a price since we have actually been here, but the best we could do so far is around $30,000 per machine.
Is that to change it over?
To change it over from a sickle bar to a drop deck.
30,000 per machine. You can buy a new machine probably.
They're pretty.
No, new machines.
About 60,000.
Yeah, the machine's 60,000 without the attachment, so you're going to look around 90 to 100 by the time you.
For a mower?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. That. You know, nothing's cheap. Nothing's
the
cheap
banks
anymore.
love John Deere tractors and Massey Ferguson big tractors. It's better than Freightliner and Peterbilt.
What's that?
Oh, that
like
hurt.
them better than Freightliner and Peterbilt.
Well, heck, we'll just take these Peterbilts and throw us a sickle bar on the side of them and drive them up there while we're picking the garbage, and we can get the weeds too.
Can we find maybe those used or something?
That possibility. The thing is, though, we have to match that deck up with the machine.
Can I interrupt you? I don't know how, with the other needs, that we can spend $250 or $70 or $1,000 to get 3 mowers this year. I mean, frankly, that would be.
How many mowers you need, Fabian?
At least 3. 3. I would need 3.
3 plus what we got.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Reggie says 2. I say 3.
So surely.
Okay, look, I'll settle for 2. We are making progress. I will settle for 2.
You know what it's going to come down to is what we can afford.
It will. That's exactly right. That's why the auction is a very good avenue. Maybe we can find something there.
Yeah.
Well, let's plan on going down there and looking in March.
We sent lot 1s to get it repaired, didn't we? The transmission.
We did, and he is going in the morning to pick it up.
So we got that. How many new mowers we got? It's got the sickles on it.
3.
And they're useless. Really?
They are.
What model are those? Are they old or?
What Which one? The ones
with the sickle mowers?
No, they're about 2 years.
Well, I mean, they'll bring good money in the auction in the right place.
So we've got some tractors with the sickle bars. We could switch them out, put the decks on them.
Well, see, not necessarily, because you have to match the deck with the size of tractor. Not, you know what I'm saying? It has to be a weight.
So you're trying to say our tractors might be too small to put
the deck that we have on. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm lost again.
Well, okay.
Been checking, done a number on me today.
It's the weight, because of the weight of the deck, you have to have the weight on the tractor to
Counterweight.
offset that for a counterweight. So you're not tipping the tractor over when you drop the deck down.
Well, I think we'll look in March.
Yeah.
Fabian, what did you turn in on your capital to me?
Well, did I just turn in 2 mowers? Or is that what you're telling me?
No, did you turn in the mowers and the tractors, or I can't remember off the top of my head.
I turned in, I think it was probably 3 mowers. I don't know, I did not turn in just the decks for the sickle bars, though.
I think we ought to go ahead and price those and get an accurate current price
Okay.
before you guys go down there, so you'll know a baseline to deal with.
Greg, can
Does
you
that make sense?
Oh, it does. No, and I have got 2 prices on those, and both of them come in right around 30.
Greg, get with Fabian and work out the details of making sure we've got a current new price, so we'll know where we stand, and then when you guys go to auction, you'll have something to compare to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find any other auctions, see what the stuff's going for. I mean, any numbers you can put together. All right, anybody else have anything tonight? Mr. Keene, we've already talked. Anything else, sir? No public comment. Judge Hickman has nothing. Commissioner Robertson. Commissioner Tackett.
Long trip tomorrow. I agree with Commissioner Robertson.
Commissioner Booth.
I'd just like to thank the gentlemen over to jail, Jason, Brian, them, all of them over to jail for what they've been doing out picking up litter and everything. And also, let's remember all the sickness. I know I just got a text that school's called off the rest of the week, so let's remember all the sickness in our community, and that's all I have tonight, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Briefly, Miss Justine Hickman, who is the widow of J.D. Hickman at Phelps, passed away, and we want to ask if the public would remember them, Miranda and the rest of the family, in their prayers. You know, Justine and J.D. J.D. was past master at Thomas DeVinny Lodge, and was a good friend. And they used to run Silver Spoons restaurant there in Phelps for many years. It's one of my favorite places to go. I used to love going over there. And she was a lady that was dearly loved in the Phelps community, and we would just ask to remember that family. And William, would you please say the benediction for us, sir?
Lord, we come to you tonight and we thank you for the decisions made here, Lord. We ask your blessings on them. And we pray that they're in your will, Lord, for the betterment of this county. We ask it all in the sweet name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tackett. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson? Commissioner Tackett? Commissioner Booth? Judge Jones?
Yes, we are adjourned.